Oh, good afternoon, tenors. Good to see you all. Sticking a couple of people in the chat. We've got Carol joining from the alto. We've got Paul and Nancy. Mark, nice to see you. And Simon can join us today. Lovely. Always a smaller section, the tenors, as in all choirs. But the most important, I always think the tenors are most important. Maybe it's just because I'm biased. It's always because I'm biased. But very nice to see you all. We had a very good soprano rehearsal just over an hour ago, and they're feeling nice and confident. So I'm hoping that by the end of this rehearsal, that all the tenors will also be as confident as the sopranos seem to feel, which is a really, really good thing, actually. It's amazing seeing how people change from being very, very scared of the piece, and then as soon as they get to know it and they get inside the work, they enjoy it so much more. So yeah, really looking forward to this. And we've got, of course, the duet. I wonder if we might get a couple more errant tenors joining us at some point, because everyone's desperate to sing movement number 4, Su Shepit Israel. But I'm sure everything will be still working, because I was streaming not half an hour ago, so this should all be working. Lovely. Good, I'm just going to have a sip of water before we get going. Yeah, movements 4, 5 and 6 today, tenors. And then, of course, almost straight after this rehearsal, about half an hour between it, and then at 5 o'clock, we've got a sing-through of the whole thing. So hopefully, I think you've probably got luckiest, as you'll be most in form before the sing-through. You've had the most recent go through it. So I think not a bad time to have a rehearsal. But as always, do just let me know how you're getting on with things in the chat. That is one of the real benefits of being able to do my rehearsals live, as I haven't really been doing until this course. It's so helpful for people to just see how people are getting on with things, actually, and whether they need to do it again, or if there's a particular bit that maybe just needs a little bit more explanation. Please do just pop it in the chat, and then I'll action it as soon as I possibly can. I was saying to the sopranos earlier that there's a lot of action at SIC headquarters, I believe, because Monday is Hallelujah Day, which is the second Messiah, as I've been saying, the coming of the second Messiah, and it's apparently sounding amazing. So if you were involved in that, or you are going to be involved in that on Monday, then I think you're going to be in for a treat, because I hear that it is fantastic, and Mark and Ben and Connor are all very excited about it. And apparently all the recording that's been done has been excellent. So I'm hoping that we get a similar level of excitement and sort of productivity when it comes to recording this piece. But I'll be giving you more information about that at the end of this afternoon's sing-through. I said this afternoon sing-through, it's happening in about an hour or so not too far away. Lovely. Well, tenors, it is now 3:30, so I will kick off. As I said just a couple of seconds ago, but if you have just joined us, we're going to be looking at movements 4, 5 and 6 today. 4, of course, that beautiful tenor and bass duet. Then we've got movement number 5, Sicut locutus est, which we looked at the Gloria of on Monday. And then finally, Sicut erat in principio, the final movement, which is very, very similar to the first movement and kind of brings us in full circle. So 3 movements to get through today, and I'm sure that'll put us in a really good place for the sing-through. So, first things first, let's warm up. If you could please stand up or sitting up nice and tall in your chair, making sure your feet are about hip-width apart there, flat on the floor, and your back is nice and straight and a good place for singing. And the first thing is always to do is do a shake everything off. Shake, 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 shake. And just waking up the arms, please. And front to the legs. And back to the legs. And just across the chest. Ah, good. And stretching up, please. Lovely. And slowly bring the arms down. Great. And just roll your shoulders back a couple of times, please. And rolling them forwards. And bring them up to the ears. And relax. And up to the ears. And relax. Good. And let's wake up the face. couple of yawns. Oh, good. And chew some gum. And clean your teeth with your tongue. Lovely stuff. Hands under belly buttons, please. First of all, just a couple of nice deep breaths in with me. Breathing in. And out. Really filling up that invisible rubber ring just round your lower abdominal muscles. Breathing in again. And out. Lovely stuff. And repeating after me, please. Thank you very much. Bit of gentle humming, please. Your turn. To to Lovely, thank you very much. Let's come down. Ya, 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 your turn. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 ya. Ya, 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 you. You, 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 you. You, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. We're gonna have a couple of Bella Signoras, your turn. Bella Signora. 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 Two more. Bella Signora. Bella Signora. Fantastic. Good. Thank you, tenors. Please can you turn to movement number 4, Sushepit Israel. I've just seen Simon say, are we waiting for the stream to start, or is it just me? I'm hoping that can everyone hear me? I'm sure people said hello to me. Yes, good. I think I am. I think I am streaming, which is good. Right, well, let's turn to movement number 4, please, tenors. Sushepit Israel, which we did a little bit on Monday. And I said it before, it's sort of you've got a trio between the sort of 2 violin parts, upper parts, and then a continuo bass. And then we've got the 2 singers, the tenor and bass, and then the continuo as well. And tenors, you've got a wild coming. So the basses sing Sushepit Israel, Sushepit Puerum Sum. And you take their C and you nip up and you sing Recordatus, Recordatus, which is a lovely line. And you're always going recorda, recorda. And I think it's really quite smooth, this. Recordatus, recordatus. And of course, you know exactly what my favourite moment is, and that is the B flat in bar 10. Scrunch. Okay, let's sing that recordatus, please, tenors, to the end of bar 8. It comes in 1 and 2 and 3. Recordatus, recordatus. Lovely, and you can sense the interplay between you and the basses. And it's you again. And then after that A, you jump up to the top F, tus, and then you're up. So the little A, if you look right at the bottom of your page, which I've circled over DA, it just asks for it to be dotted. Col Diesu, Diesu, Diesu. And again, as I said in previous rehearsals, please trill from the upper note. Diesu. Okay? And then in this Misericordia section from bar 11, which is he remembering his mercy is Misericordia, we've got to be really sustained the whole way through this. He marks a big slur all the way from Okay, so you need to make sure you're sustaining all the way through there. Okay, going up from the B natural to the G, just float over the top. And I suggest you prepare an O like an orange. Okay, let's sing that together, please, tenors, from bar 11. Misericordia, 3 and 4 and Misericordia sua. Bravo, and you can be nice and strong to the end there. And then we're going to turn the page together, we hear this. It's our turn to sing the tune, and we have Sushepit Israel, Sushepit Puerum Sum. Lovely. Lovely. So it's Sushepit Israel, Sushepit Israel, Sushepit Israel. And then a little bit more intense. Sushepit puarum sum. Okay, so going towards sum. I'm going to play from the downbeat of bar 15 and we'll sing that together. So we hear 1, 2. Sushepit Israel, Sushepit puarum sum. Lovely. And then the basses, it comes down a little bit in dynamic and they sing Recordatus. And we sing Recordatus Miserico. And then we're into the next phrase, but I'll come on to that in a second. I'd just like us to focus on initially bar 17 into 18. Recordatus. Just sing that for me. 1 and 2 and 3. Recordatus. And then the bassists sing. And before they can get to their bottom E, we come in with this little phrase that we looked at on Monday for Misericordia, which is nice and jaunty, which goes Misericordia. It's a long old phrase, and I would ask you to stagger all the way through. Now, what's interesting is it's got quite a few dotted rhythms in this phrase, but actually, he asks us to do them within the context of a slur. So we can't go Miserico, ho 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 ho. We've got to have that sense of line going all the way through. So we get Miserico. Okay, and again we've got that A, which is the dotted rhythm in bar 21. And the most important thing is the appoggiatura on the su, and then it's just a little flick. Good. Let's sing that, please, tenors, from Misericordia bar 18, please. End of bar 18. So we get 1, 2, 3. Misericordia. And at that point, we think that we might have finished, but then Durante brings us down to this rather unstable chord. So we're not quite done. Chaps asked for a little break between the two Ds in bar 19. Yes, I'd like to hear that there's a separation, but don't breathe, please. It's just a little aspiration there to make sure that we hear that there's two different notes there. Good, thank you. Good question. Excuse me 1 second. Now, bar 22. We've just sung su, and then we've got to jump down here, which is a little bit tricky. Mi, dia su, misericordia su. And that's my favourite bit, is the trill on the top G, beginning on the top A. And this is exactly the same as the phrase that we had in bar 11 in terms of the fact that it's a big sustained phrase. There's lots of leaping around within the melody itself. But we've got to imagine that our part is very similar to the basses, who are going, just driving, snaking around. We've got a very different part, but we have to give it that same sense of line and legato. So from bar 22, let's sing that together. It goes 3 and 4 and Misericordia nice and strong to the end, because that is a lot of energy, a lot of work from down here to get up to those top notes. Lovely. Tenors, let's put that together from bar. Let's go from bar 18, please. End of. Just so we get how the whole thing fits together. Here we go. 2, 3. And as I said before, you can breathe and stagger all the way through that, but I was trying to demonstrate doing it in one so that it just about can be done. Lovely. So, thinking about the words, suscepit Israel, suscepit puerem suum recordatus misericordiae suae. He remembering his mercy hath holpen his servant Israel. So it's quite a positive, it's a reassuring thing. And so that's why it's got these lovely melodies. You've got to think about the interplay between the two parts. You know, who's got the really dramatic parts, who's got the most interesting harmony, where are the scrunches, okay? And I think when you have these long phrases, it's important to sustain, keep sustaining, and then this is your payoff. So it's all of that feeling of trajectory, and then there is the payoff, okay? Good. I think tenors will be ready to have a little sing through from the beginning with Will and Richard. It's quite a short movement, but really, really lovely, and it's great that the tenors and basses get a chance to show off as well as the sopranos and altos. Okay, so this is the beginning of movement number 4 with Will and Richard. Here we go. Fab stuff. Excellent. I love the end of that movement. I just think it's such fun. And I love the organ sound as well. I think Richard did such a lovely job. It's very, very simple, but it just feels so uplifting somehow. Don't know how he does it. Good. Thank you very much, tenors. Well, do let me know how you got on. I hope that that's nice and secure and you're feeling good about that. And I hope we have as many people as possible recording. I know we've had some altos who've been sneaking in for that movement, but I do hope that you will stay and potentially consider doing some more recording for movements 5 and 6 as well. So please, could we turn to movement number 5, tenors? Sicut locutus est. And we did a little bit of work on this on Monday, mostly on the Gloria, and there are two main sections. We've got the Secret Locutus section, which is quite texty, it's a little bit fast, and it's got high internal energy, yum bada bum bum, very, very neat and tight articulation. And then the Gloria, which is much more expansive. I've got maestoso, so it's a lovely sort of beautiful feeling of expansion in the Gloria, which I think is really, really important in this piece. So we arrive, having just finished the previous movement in F major, we're then quickly thrown into D minor. And the first thing I need you to say is Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. Just say that for me. 1 and 2. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. And the strong weak on nostros. Nostros. And you'll see I put a little banana in bar 2 between est and ad to let us know that there's no breath there. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. And let's make sure that those quavers are all a little bit more detached and they're going towards nostros. Okay? 3 and 4. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. Lovely, good. So we hear the soprano sing. And we need to pick up the F up here. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. You actually got probably the most dexterous part. Let's take it a little bit slower and sing it together. 1 and 2. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. And one more time a little faster. 1 and 2. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. Bravo. And then we hear the organ play something like this. And then the alto sing Si quod locutus. And they give us our E. And our next line goes as follows. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. Okay, exactly the same in terms of the phrasing of the words and our breaths as well. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. We'll do it nice and slowly. 3 and 4. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. Bravo, and a little bit faster, lots of text. 3 and 4. Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros. I've just seen Claire is absolutely right. In bar 2, it does say nostres. It should be nostros. I thought I spotted all of those. Nostros, please. Nostres could be something rather different, I think, but nostros. Nostros, please. Thank you. Well spotted, Claire. Good. So we've just got to bar 5 where we sung Patres Nostros, and again we're listening to the organ play. And then the sopranos and alto sing Abrahams et semini, and then we're about to sing et semini eos in saecula. Of course, all of this is Si quod locutus est ad patres nostros, as it was promised to our forefathers, Abraham, et semini eos in saecula, and his seed forever. And you'll notice how Durante does this really amazing thing from bar 6, where the line is split between the sopranos and altos and the tenors and basses, and it goes Abraham et sem. So we'd have to take on from where the sopranos and altos have left off. And can you just say for me, tenors and basses, et semini eius in saecula, et semini eius in saecula. Just say that for me. 1 and 2. Et semini eius in saecula. One more time. 1 and 2. Et semini eius in saecula. Lovely. And your part goes as follows. Et semini eius in saecula. Just try that for me. 1 and 2. Et semini eius in saecula. And one more time. 1 and 2. Et semini eius in saecula. Bravo. And then the sopranos and altos take off where you left off. This is nice and strong. And then we get the whole phrase in bar 8. And it goes as follows. Abraham et semini eius in saecula, et semini eius. which is quite a tricky little phrase. So I would suggest again that you have a little warning sign or something from page 33 to 34 which says turn quickly, and I've got to sing an F as soon as I go over the page. Abraham et semini eius in saecula et semini eius. Let's sing it nice and slowly, please, tenors, from bar 8. There's your notes. 3 and 4. Abraham et semini eius in saecula et semini eius. Good, let's do it one more time, a little faster. Here we go, 3 and 4. Abraham et semini eius in saecula et semini eius. Bravo, and then we hear the basses and sopranos sing. And we need to go lower than the basses down here. And our last line goes in saecula, in saecula. Okay, which is quite a dramatic finish. In saecula. And then the final, the most important sort of stress of this section, in saecula, which really feels like quite a dramatic statement at the end. In saecula. And there'll be a little slowing down, I think, into that final cadence. Let's sing from the end of bar 10, please, tenors. End of 10 tenors. And we'll do it a little slower. Here we go. 3 and 4. In saecula, in saecula. Well done. A little faster. 3 and 4. In saecula, in saecula. And what is interesting in that in saecula, you're going with the sopranos against this. In saecula. Just very interesting, that harmony there. Good. What I'm going to suggest we do now, tenors, is go back to the beginning, and we're going to sing that all the way through, just to give us a bit of context and see how it all fits together. I'll do my absolute best on the piano to give you as much other stuff as possible, and we'll hopefully get through to the Gloria, because I think it becomes a little bit easier at that point. Okay, so this is from the beginning. Here goes, we count 3 and 4. Sicut locutus estat Patres nostros. Sicut locutus estat Patres nostros. Et semini eius in saecula. Abraham et semini eius in saecula. Et semini eius in saecula, in saecula. Good. How did you get on there, tenors? Let me know. And while you're doing so, we're going to move on to the Gloria, which should be a little bit of revision because we did take a look at this on Monday. So you're not in at the beginning. The first statement comes from the sopranos, altos, and basses. Then you take the soprano note. Make sure you take a big breath in bar 18 so you don't run out of breath like I just did there. Lovely. Most important thing, as much as breathing at the V's and making sure you go through the bananas, is going towards the word fi or filio in bar 15. Tri et filio. And you'll notice that your li does not line up with the rest. So don't be afraid of going a little bit later. Filio. Okay? Let's Let's sing that one more time, please, tenors, and make sure it's really sustained and you're singing all the way through if we can. Let's see, in page 35, bar 18 and 19. Should there be a slur on the D of Spiel, which is using two Cyprian notes? There absolutely should be a slur in between bar 18 and 19. I've actually written mine in so convincingly that I thought it was in the edition. But you're absolutely right, we should just go through so definitely a marked in tie there, please. A marked in tie. Thank you. From the beginning of the Gloria, please, tenors. After 2. 1, 2. Make sure you just put in your NC. Anctor. We want to hear that at the end. There's a little writ happening as well, because we're announcing the return of our favourite theme. Over the page. Lovely. Good stuff, tenors. I'm going to suggest we turn back to the beginning of this one, and we'll have a little sing through with Will and with Richard, please. So again, remembering the two sections, C, S, lots of bounce, ram, ba, da, dee, da, 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 lots of very, very clear articulation, and then the Gloria, which is much more expansive, and making sure you're singing through those phrases for all their worth. Great stuff. Here is movement number 5. C locutus, so just remind us what D minor looks like. Sounds like, rather. And let me just find your track. Great stuff. Here we go, from the beginning of movement number 5, tenors. Sicut locutus est ad patres nostros. Sicut locutus est ad patres nostros. Et semini eius in secula. Abraham et semini eius in secula, et semini eius in secula, in secula. Well done, tenors. Just let me know in the chat how you got on with that one. But I certainly think that you'll have put a decent effort in from wherever you are, from homes across the world. I think it's a really nice tenor part, that, actually. Particularly when you're going against the beat and you're counting. I think it's really fun when you're kind of on the offbeat. Yeah? So feel that sense of just going against the grain slightly in bars 18 and 19. Lovely. Movement number 6, please, tenors. Movement number 6. We're finally there. And there will be a couple of themes in this that you'll be very aware of. Lots of little bits from the first movement that feels like it's coming back in this last one. So we're back in B flat major, and the sopranos sing Sicut erat in principio et nunc next, so someone actually asked semper. I'd like a little one rolled R at the end. Semper. It's just a flick, not a rrr. A little flick, please. Then you have to say the following. Et in secula seculorum. Just say that for me. And 1. Et in secula seculorum. And again. And 1. Et in secula seculorum. Great. So you take the B flat that the sopranos have finished on semper, and you sing as follows. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. And there's a lot of these phrases where the et in secula seculorum is very much cut from the same cloth as sicut erat in principio, sicut locutus, I should say. Sorry, a little bit bouncier, kind of a lighter articulation. Et in secula seculorum, and then the amen is very much like the Gloria. Seculorum, amen. Really expansive as you come through there. We'll sing it nice and slowly from bar 6, please, tenors. So it goes 3 and 4 and 1. Et in secula seculorum, amen. And a little faster, same thing. 3, 4, 1. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. And it's a nice little jerk of the altos. And Durante does a lot of pairings in this piece, and that's a pairing he likes, the sopranos and altos together. So the altos and tenors together, I should say. And then the sopranos and basses, it's the basses mainly, and the sopranos are just sort of helping them out with a little bit of florid decoration on top. And that's the soprano line, and then we basically do exactly the same thing. Okay, so our part goes, we listen to the sopranos. 1, 2. Amen. Okay, and again you've got to jump on the basses travelator and just make sure that you keep these quavers nice and flowing. Amen. Quavers are always so much easier to sing if you keep them moving. Let's sing that together now, please. Tenors, we're looking at bar 9, but I'll play from midway through bar 8 so we see how it all fits together. So the sopranos go, then we come in. Amen. Lovely. And then we count. And we need to follow the bass part. Yada, ba, ba, ba. They come back up to an E flat, and that's our next note. So again, it doesn't quite do what you're expecting, so I'd suggest a quick page turn. And the first thing we'll do is just look at bar 13 midway through. Because you've got an E flat coming up that rising scale. Then an E natural. Just do it nice and slowly together. 1 and 2. Amen. And a little bit faster. 1 and 2. Amen. And I've marked a little crescendo because I want us to go into the middle of that suspension. And then away. Okay, let's just do it one more time. 1 and 2. Amen. Lovely. Now let's add bar 11 onto that, starting on our E flat. Okay. After 2, 1, 2. And again, Jack, you'll miss the ties today. You're absolutely right that there is a tie between the two C's going across the page. You don't want to have to redo those. They are very, very much tied. Thank you very much. Then we get a little bit of a break as we listen to the sopranos and altos sing. Basses. And then they come up to their B flats. Secularum. And that's our note, our next note in bar 17. And our part goes, et in secula seculorum. Amen. Now I've marked a little diminuendo there because the altos then take over with the tune. Okay, so it's a little diminuendo for us to allow the altos to take over. Back to bar 17, please, nice and slowly, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. Try that one more time. 1, 2, 3. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. And we've got to hold on to that F, because we hear quite a lot of it after that. The basses carry on. And then our part is very much filler here, so don't worry about singing this out too loud. We go, Amen, Amen. Oh, stunning writing. The best 4 notes in the piece for us tenors. I'm joking, of course. So this is bar 20. We count to 1, 2. Amen, Amen. And then we pass that job on to the sopranos. Good. Let's put that all together now from bar 17, last beat, sorry. Et in secula seculorum, and then we'll go all the way through. So the basses sing. Here we go. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. 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 So we arrive at F major in bar 24. That's where the cadence is in bar 24. And then suddenly we're put straight into D minor. So we need to hear the F that's being sung around us and then come down to the D. And I've marked us down to a mezzo piano just because this feels like a slightly different section. It's not as confident. We're a little bit harmonically ambiguous at that point. So we're just coming down in dynamic to start a new section. And we sing, Et in secula seculorum. Amen. The other reason for coming down in dynamic is it's very easy to go, Et in secula seculorum. Amen. We needed to have a certain amount of taste there, please, tenors. And you'll see I've marked again the stresses, Et in secula seculorum. Amen. Let's do it nice and slowly from the end of bar 24. A 1 and 2 and 3. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. Bravo, just sing that one more time. 1, 2, 3. Et in secula seculorum. Amen. Off. And then we need to build ourselves up because the sopranos and altos take off in a slightly larger dynamic at the end of bar 25. And then there's this funny line from the basses. But we're preparing for the proper arrival in D minor in bar 28, and we have the tune. Si ut erat in principio et nunc et semper. Okay, and I suggest either a quick page turn or a warning sign to let you know that you have a lot more to do over the page. So this is quite heroic here, tenors. It's quite high in our tessitura. Make sure that the crotchets in bar 29 have got a direction. Erat in principio, because that's where we're going. Principio. The chi is the important part. Et nunc et, and here's the important one, semper. And there's that lovely suspension with the altos underneath us and the sopranos above us. It's just got that little bit more gravitas. Okay, let's sing our tune then, tenors, from bar 28 straight on. Big breath, 2, 3, 4. Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper. You don't have a lot of time to breathe. You go Amen, and suddenly we're into G minor, and the basses have got the tune. So in bar 33, we go Semper Amen, and we don't have a lot of time to breathe. So just sing for me bar 33, please. Second beat. 3, 4, 1. Amen. And you've got to be really quick off the bat because you'll see that the sopranos do exactly the same thing, but a beat later. So it could be quite easy to be brought onto their level, but just make sure that you stick to your guns. So what I'm going to suggest we do, tenors, is let's go back to bar 28, C chord, and then have a quick page turn and make sure we're ready to sing that little phrase. Here's C chord, 2, 3, 4. C chord, in principio et nunc et semper. Amen. Off. And then, this is probably our hardest line, we swap roles with the basses who've been doing that lovely basso continuo line, which just kind of molto perpetuo just keeps going and going and going and going and keeps the music moving forward. They get the tune and we get the continuo part up the octave. So we have to sing this. 1, 2. Amen. Ugh, knackering. So we'll do that nice and slowly from bar 34. Don't worry about using too much power on the top notes, tenors. Nice and floaty if you can. 1 and 2. Well done. Notice that the altos occasionally adorn your line. Nice. That happens quite a lot in this movement between the sopranos and basses as well. Back to bar 34. A little bit faster this time. 1 and 2. Good, and even faster, up to tempo. 1 and 2. Amen. Now, other techniques you can do for this is you can dot it. Amen. Or you can back dot it. Amen. Either way, it's all to do with singing it in. Sing it into your voice. Okay? Let's do it one more time for luck from bar 34 and then we'll carry on this time. Back to normality. Here we go. 1 and 2. Amen. Then you don't have a lot of time to breathe and you're back up to the stratosphere. Et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Now that's the trickiest bit, is bar 40, jumping from your top G to your lower B flat. Saeculorum. Just sing for me. Saeculorum. Your turn. Saeculorum. And now the whole phrase from Et in saecula, bar 39. 3, 4, 1. Et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. And I don't mind you breathing there. And I've put a little bit mezzo forte, so it can be quite strong tenors. I don't need you to be worrying too much about sounding quietly up in the high range. Et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Then we have a little diminuendo because we feel like we're about to be in the final descent, as it were, towards the cadence. So then the sopranos and altos sing, and that's in bar 41, and we start on our G. Et in saecula saeculorum, amen, amen. So we come to the 4 in the middle of bar 43, amen, then a little less, amen, as the sopranos and altos take over. Good, let's sing that from bar 41. And we suddenly move from this G minor. And then we are easily back in F major, which feels very, very close to home. Okay, let's sing that from bar 41. 1, 2, 3. Et in saecula saeculorum, amen, amen. Then the basses take our role as we've come almost down a tone. And then we follow their part. And that gives us our B flat. And we can feel now that we're very much, having seen B flat again, we know that home is very close at the end of bar 46. And we sing, et in saecula saeculorum, amen, amen, excuse me. Okay, so we've got these, again, these adornments for the bass line. So it's very much similar to what we were doing earlier, but this time it's not quite as spaced out as it was before. So we'll take it nice and slowly from the end of bar 46. It goes 1, 2, 3. Et in saecula saeculorum, amen. 1, amen. And I think it's worth noticing that this final Et in saecula saeculorum tune in the sopranos is just slightly truncated. So it doesn't feel exactly the same as the other ones we've had because it's slightly shorter. So be aware of that the harmony comes at a slightly different time. It's very, 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 very similar, but it's not quite the same. Good, let's sing that from the end of bar 46 one more time. 1 and 2 and 3. Et in saecula saeculorum, amen. 1, amen. Then we jump up. And that, of course, is the final. It really is the final cadence before the cadenza. So this is when we know that we've really made it home. And we've got that lovely 7th. Amen. Before the amen, final amen, which we learnt on Monday. So let's just take it back to bar 50 midway through on our D. After 2, 1, 2. Amen. And then we stay nice and strong. Amen. 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 I think that's such a heroic tenor line at the end. Jumping up to that top G. And you have the lovely suspension there. Amen. 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 So be aware of that. And be aware of your interplay with the sopranos in bar 53. Okay, let's just sing the amen together, tenors. Here we go. After 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. Amen. 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 Sorry, I could have been more helpful there with my piano playing. Let's do it one more time from bar 53. 3, 4, 1. Amen. 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 Great stuff. Well done, tenors. And that is the piece broken down. Well done. I'm just going to, before we have a sing through with Will and Richard, I'm just going to bring us back to the beginning of this movement and just talk through a couple of things to remind us what to be thinking of as we sing through. So we first come in bar 6, et in secula seculorum, so going with the rhetoric of the text, et in se, nice and bouncy, but then a little bit smoother, more legato at amen. And then when we join the basses in bar 9, just remember to jump on the treadmill. It should feel like flowing waves just moving forward. Good. Make sure you've got a warning sign going from page 37 to 38 because, of course, there's that little addendum. Which we haven't looked at before until this movement, so just make sure you're ready for that. Then we've got the et in secula seculorum again. Lots of that, and then of course be ready for your tune in bar 28, keeping it nice and strong. Sicut erat in principio. But make sure again you're going with the sense of the words, but coming to the fore there. Then of course your lovely basso continuo moment at bar 34. Might need a bit of practice, but for the moment just keep the trajectory moving forward. Then of course your more et in secula seculorums, really being aware of the dynamics and then coming in nice and strong once we arrive back in B flat major for our final iteration of the theme, and then amen. Lovely, well done tenors. I'm going to bring us back to the beginning of this movement. We'll have a sing through with Will and Richard, and then the next time I will see you in about half an hour's time for a sing through of the whole piece. So I hope that's been helpful. Here is movement 6 for the last time in this rehearsal. Here we go.
Et in secula seculorum,
Bravo tenors, well done as always. If there's anything you need to go over in this rehearsal, please just pause and watch it back, and watch back in your own time as many times as you'd like. I'd really like people to feel as comfortable as they possibly can with this piece before we come together and start recording. So I'm going to see you, hopefully many of you, in about half an hour's time when we have our full choir sing through. I think it's going to be great. It's such a lovely piece, and it's been great to see the enthusiasm for the piece, for a piece that means so much to me and also to Mark as well, I believe. So thank you so much for joining me, and I'm just going to go and have a little rest, and I will see you very, very shortly at 5 o'clock. So thank you very much, tenors. Take care, and I'll see you soon.